Hello, hello, hello. Okay, I guess I'm live on Instagram as well as Facebook. So, hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? We are into Jan, and today we are doing our first Wellness Wednesday for the month of Jan. So, I'm super excited about this. If you have been following me, or you know that I'm here live on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. or 2 p.m., depending. But usually I'm here every Wednesday afternoon to host Wellness Wednesdays. So I talk about a single theme the entire month and try to educate you about different topics. For those who are new to me, I'm an Ayurvedic doctor. I'm also a holistic nutritionist, and my practice is based in Sarnia, but I see clients all over, right? So today, we're going to talk about understanding body composition. Today, we are going to talk about BMI versus BIA, body fat, what exactly it means, what's going on, what you should be knowing. Because one of the most common resolutions that I see every single year is I want to lose weight, right? I cannot tell you the number of people that decide that, okay, I'm going to lose weight this year, but they're not very specific with the goals. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about and why. Right. So, when it comes to your weight loss goals, one of the most important things is to understand what exactly is your body composed of. So, understanding body composition is extremely, extremely important because when we talk about weight loss, your weight on the scale is a number that only denotes a number, right? How heavy you are, but it does not tell you how much body fat you have, muscle mass you have, how much hydration you have, what's going on in the body, right? So those are two different things, and that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to say a quick hi. So thank you for joining me, Radhika. Thanks for joining me, Isha. So I have two people live on Instagram. I have quite a few people live on Facebook. If you are watching this live, please say a quick hi. Hi, Darshana. Nice to see you. If you are watching this as a replay, please post your questions and I'll be more than happy to answer. So let's talk about body weight, right? So we talk about, body weight. So what exactly comprises of the body weight, right? So your body weight is not all about body fat. Your body fat is definitely a part of your body weight, right? Muscle mass is another part of your body weight. Your organs in your body, if you look at your liver, intestines are pretty hollow, they don't carry a lot of weight by themselves, but liver, your other organs are going to contribute to some weight as well, not a lot but some weight for sure, right? And body water, that's also going to contribute to your body weight, as well as the bones, right? So bones are an important part. The skeletal system is an important part of your body weight. So we have to really understand what comprises of the body weight. Hello, Aparna. Nice to see you. Hello, Tamji. Thanks for showing up live. So these are the factors. And when we look at healthy or unhealthy weight loss, these are factors to understand. So an example of unhealthy weight loss is if you go on a crash diet and you lose 10 pounds or 5 pounds in a week, right? But if you have lost a lot of muscle mass, that over a period of time can create issues with your immune system as well. And right now we are living in a world in the off pandemic where our immune systems are extremely important, and that is why having a healthy weight is important. Obesity is one of the comorbidity for COVID-19. That's why if you have ever thought about getting into shape, right, or getting into the best health of your life, this is really the time to think about it and take it seriously, right? So obesity is another risk factor. Obesity is a huge risk factor for metabolic conditions, diabetes, cholesterol, and also, right? So that's why we're going to talk about. And obesity also is suppose like looks at excess body fat. So that's what we're discussing today, right? If you have any questions, once again, put it in the comment section and I'll be more than happy to answer the question. So let's talk about, BMI and BIA and what am I talking about. So the first point I want to make clear is we want to understand what our body weight is made up of. That is why we have this discussion today. So in your body, if you are at a normal weight for your height, and you can find these charts anywhere, right? And these charts are very rough charts. I can't say they're 100% accurate, because if you are an athlete who's working out, who's training hard, you are going to have a lot of muscles in your body and you will weigh heavier on the scale, right? If you are a kapha type in terms of Ayurveda, if you have a kapha dominant prakriti, you're always going to be heavier on the scale, right? When I was in my university, I had the best bone density. It was crazy. We did this bone density test, and I had one of the best bone density tests in the entire university. And I am a a dominant body type, right? So my bones carry a lot of weight as well. So I'm always going to weigh higher on the scale as compared to a pitta or a vata individual of the same height, right? So bones are going to be much denser in a kapha type as well. For those looking at Ayurveda, this is like a quick thing I wanted to talk about. So you have to understand, if you are heavier, if you are overweight is what we say, then what is contributing to this excess weight, right? Is it the muscle? If you are muscular, you're going to look toned and you're going to have good amounts of muscle, and chances are you're not even watching the stream. But if you have excess body fat, right, if you have any loose fat, loose skin, excess body fat, that is when you should try to understand that you want to be able to lose the excess body fat. Now, people who go on crash diets, people who try different diets by themselves, or eat salads all the time, or just eat plant based 100% without making sure they're having enough protein, can actually harm themselves by losing a lot of muscle mass, right? If you have a complete rounded, well rounded diet, you're not going to lose muscle mass. But if you go on crash diets, or if you starve yourself on a 500 calorie diet, or just eating apples for a day, or you do go on 24-hour dry fasts, and there are all sorts of crazy things happening. So if you go on a self diet without consulting with anyone, you could end up losing a lot of muscle mass. So that's the time you have to be careful. Certain people also, if you have digestive issues, if you have recurrent diarrhea, you can also lose a lot of body water, right? If you are an athlete, if you are a runner, you don't hydrate yourself well. People who run marathons without hydrating, especially in hot countries like India, you could lose a lot of hydration, body water as well, right? So these are a few things that make up your body weight, right? And understanding body composition is extremely, extremely important for most things. Even when you are a senior, or even if you are in your middle age, or if you have any issues with cholesterol or blood pressure, it's important to understand the distribution of fat, or how much fat you have in your body. Now, people ask me what BMI is, right? What exactly is BMI and why is it important? So BMI is literally called body mass index, right? So BMI is a very rough figure. You're calculating your weight and height. So I'm looking at a scale, just give me 1 second. If I'm going to, I can share like the free scale as well. So that we take the weight in kgs and we divide it by the square of your height in meters, right? And it is a very rough way, inexpensive, a very easy way to understand whether you're underweight, whether you're in the healthy weight, or whether you're in the overweight or the obese category, right? The challenge when it comes to BMI is that BMI is not going to tell you how much your body fat should be. It's not going to tell you how much your muscle mass should be, right? And the one thing extremely important is, that you also need to have good amounts of muscle mass. Now, this is a big myth when it comes to women. We talk about not wanting to be bulkier, not wanting to get a lot of muscles like men, or lose the feminine curves, but it takes a lot of efforts, it takes a lot of work for women to put on a lot of muscle mass. So if you're looking at athletes who are really muscular, they have strict diets and they make sure they have a really good exercise routine that helps them build this muscle mass, right? So let's talk about BIA. What exactly is BIA? What exactly is bioimpedance analysis, right? So BIA is something that can be measured. I'm actually sitting in my clinic, and I can show you the simple thing that I use, right? So this is something very simple. So this is my body composition monitor that I use, and that comes with electrodes. So these are the electrodes that we can hook up to your hands and feet, and you're going to lie down, and this puts a tiny amount of current in your body, right? It passes a very tiny amount of current through your body, and fat does not let the current pass, right? And that's how it measures the fat. And I'm going to measure your height, measure your weight, measure, put these electrodes on your body, let you lie down, and then punch some numbers in the system. And that's when I get a report of what's known as BIA, or bioimpedance analysis, right? And it is simply, it's the measurement of your body composition, right? So that's what bioimpedance analysis is. We simply understand how much muscle mass you have, how much body fat you have, how much hydration you have, right? And if you are retaining any excess water or not. Water retention is an indicator of inflammation. I also measure something called cellular index, which is known as phase angle, which shows how healthy your cells are. So this is a very simple test. It's not super expensive. It literally takes 10 or 15 minutes, but what it gives you is information which is worth gold, right? It's literally information that's worth gold, because you understand a lot about yourself. Now, how much muscle mass should you have, right, is something that most people ask me, that how much muscle mass should you have, how much body fat should you have. So muscle mass, ideally, if you are working out, I like to see a minimum of 30 to 35% of muscle mass, right? So if you are an athlete, it goes way above, right? It can be 35 or 40%. If you're a bodybuilder, it's going to be more. For runners don't have a lot of muscle mass on the body. If they carry too much weight, they're not going to run too far, so their muscle mass is going to be lower. So if you are an athlete, it would really depend on your fitness goals, what your muscle mass range should be. But ideally, in my opinion, having 30%, for women, and 35 to 40 for men is a really good number to ensure you're staying healthy. See, the one thing to understand is, if you are ever unwell, if you go through a surgery, or if you start getting a really bad flu or any kind of infections, your body is also going to rely on the protein in your muscle to break down, right? And once that breaks down, that can then release the amino acids that can be made to form different components of the body that help your immune system. That is the very importance of having a good amount of muscle mass, right? So this is what it is. And then when it comes to body fat percentages, people have different body fat percentages when we look at men and women when it comes to age. Again, muscle mass, I have a good question that Isha's asking me, does muscle mass change with age, right? So muscle mass definitely can change with age. As you age, if you are above 50, you end up like every year you're going to lose a little bit of muscle mass if you're not exercising, right? But the one thing to remember is, it is extremely important to have a good muscle mass. I would say at least 25%, even if you are getting older, right? If you lose a lot of muscle mass, which is very common with seniors, you can see that if you pull your skin up and there's not much muscle underneath, for the seniors, then your health is going to take a toll, right? But if you have good amounts of muscle mass, your recovery from different health conditions is going to be much faster. Also remember that muscle tissue is an active tissue, right, which increases your metabolism. And because muscles are constantly consuming glucose, the more muscle you have, the more energy you're going to use up even at resting state. So this is how your muscle mass is going to really help you lose the excess weight as well, or burn calories faster, in a very simple term. So Aparna is asking me a question that is the same as the Ozeri weight scale, which shows muscle mass, bone mass, water content. So there are different kinds of scales used, right? And some of them are very rough, like weighing scales. Some of them are the fancier version of weighing scales. This is a specific professional product. This is not like any weighing scale that you can get. I've actually invested quite a chunk of money in the impediment device, and I have used this a long time back as well. That was the handheld one. The challenge with the weighing scale that you stand on is it's not as accurate as something like this. When I'm asking you to lie down, when two electrodes go on your hand and two on your feet, it has an accurate assessment of your weight distribution and fat distribution in the body, as well as the water retention, water content, and all. The other ones are not as accurate. The handheld device is going to maybe transfer the current here and show you more from the upper body. The weighing scale is mainly going to measure more from the lower body, but it's not going to be as accurate as something that is more a professional product that you buy from a specific company or work with a practitioner, right? So it's a very specific product that I use. I've been using this for 5 years, and this has to be done in person. I can't do it virtually. So for those wondering, right, like if you live in Sarnia or London, right now the clinic, I'm sitting in my clinic, but I'm not officially like consulting because of the lockdown. But as soon as we hit like Jan 25th, I'm back to business. I have lots of appointments booked. But if you are living in Sarnia, London area, make sure, just message me and I'll be more than happy to book a reading for you, right? So that's the difference between the two. And when we look at the body fat, right? So we were talking about body fat. So there are certain guidelines. Now, for the age of 20 to 39, a typical body fat for women is almost 21 to 32%, right? It can be like 18ish to even 30%. And for men, it's going to be about 8 to 20%, right? As you age above the age of 40, it's going to be slightly higher. So it's 23 to 33% for women, and for men, it's going to be 11 to 21. So typically, the body fat is going to be a little bit more as we age. The numbers are going to be slightly higher for someone who ages. So as you are young, you should have more of the muscle mass, right? So body composition will change, and this measures something that is very specific to your age as well as sex. It'll give you a reading which will be according to your own numbers, right? It's not going to, it gives you the normal reading as well. Because of the privacy, I can't show you what the paper looks like. Maybe I can hide the number. Yeah. So this is like kind of the report that you get. So it has like a graph, making sure, yeah, the name is hidden, but this is for Instagram and this is for Facebook. So I hope you can see it. So it shows like fat mass, muscle mass, water inside the cell, outside the cell, as well as the hydration graph is here. And for this person, it's like a negative, so it's dehydrated. So this is what it looks like. If you have any questions, do let me know, right? So if you have any questions, please post it in the chat, and I'll be more than happy to answer. So this is one of the reasons now who should get a BIA done, right? I believe that everybody should at least once, if you are looking to get healthier, get a bioimpedance analysis done. The reading is not expensive. The testing is probably, $30 to $50. It's not like an expensive test that is going to take a chunk of your money, right? And it's a very simple, easy test that can be done right away when you're lying down. It gives you the results right away. What are the benefits to doing this? So the one thing is, when we look at body composition, when we look at overweight, there is also an aspect called skinny fat, which I'll be discussing in one of the videos soon, right? So some people are not going to weigh heavier on the scale, but they're going to, because of the inflammation, they have a lot of body fat in their body, right? And I've had a few clients, if you look at them, they don't look, they have maybe a little bit of a belly and fat depositions on the waist region and the hip region, but they don't look overweight or obese. But they can also have about high, like I've had a client who had about 40% body fat, which you couldn't see, which if I see somebody who's an overweight or obese person, I can be like, okay, I can estimate when I look at them, okay, this is the amount of body fat reading that I'm going to get. But for a person who looks skinny or normal weight, you also could have excess body fat in the body if you have a lot of inflammation or if you have any blood sugar imbalances, right? And this body fat, which is deposited in your abdominal region, is also a little bit higher risk because it can create a lot of metabolic issues in your body. Also, having excess amounts of body fat is also a risk factor for cancer, right? Obesity is a huge risk factor, whether we're talking about COVID right now, whether we're talking about cancers, whether we're talking about metabolic syndrome. And this BIA reading can help you understand exactly how much body fat you have and then target that body fat, right? Then it can ensure that, okay, whatever dietary regimen you're doing, you're not losing the muscle mass. So that's how I work. So when I work with clients, I'll do the first reading maybe today, then I'll check another reading in 3 weeks or a month time, right? And then we compare the two. So we have to see that, okay, what are you losing? Are you losing body fat? Are you losing muscle mass? Or are you really losing water? And you should be losing excess body fat at all times, right? You should not be losing muscle mass or excess body water. So that is something that's important to know, right? So I have a few more people joined. So hi Sumitra, hi Sumita, hi just Chitra. Okay, yeah. Thanks for watching this live. We're talking about BMI versus BIA, right? And understanding the body composition. If you have any questions, do let me know. If you want to get this measured, if you live in Sarnia or London area, please let me know and I'll be happy to book an appointment for you. Thank you for watching this live. I will see you soon next week with another video. Bye for now. Okay. Oh, I think I've. So thank you for watching. Bye.